So I was on Goodreads the other day and I noticed that I've rather fallen behind in my yearly goal. I set myself a goal of reading 52 books this year. That kind of works out about one book a week. And according to Goodreads, the last book I registered having finished read was the 31st of July. And that I'm 27 books behind schedule. So, in order to boost my reading goal, I've set myself a little challenge. And I went through all my stash and I picked up this. Ooh, this is gonna be awkward. This is gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna drop them all. Ta-da! This is a stack of 20 books, all of which are 300 pages or less, in an attempt to boost my reading goal. And the awesome thing about this stack is that it's full of literary gold as well. So I'm just gonna quickly run through all of these and give you a little quick synopsis on them. So yeah, let my reading challenge begin. First we have Peerless Flats by Esther Freud. This copy is from a charity shop. I think I got it for like 10p or something. And basically it's about this girl called Lisa who moves to London with her mother and her brother, and they live in this really cramped little council flat, but she really desperately wants to live like her older sister Ruby and live like the lavish London Soho lifestyle. It was published in like the early 90s and I think it's possibly set in the 80s. It just seems like really good prose and I'm excited for it. Next we have Winter Girls by Laurie Holst Anderson, and this is this has this is held to quite high acclaim, is what I'm trying to say. Basically it's about anorexia and eating disorders and how it sort of takes over the life and the psyche, and I've had this book for years and I've just not had the strength to pick it up, so I'm going to force myself to read it and get through it and hope nothing bad happens. So excited. Next we have Watch Me Disappear by Jill Dawson. I've had this book for years also. I think I got this around 2007, 2008, and it's about this woman who, as a child, her best friend disappeared mysteriously and nothing was ever seen of her again, no body found, nothing. And then 30 years later she comes back to her hometown, into her childhood home, and she believes that she sees her ghost, the ghost of the missing friend, and that the missing friend is trying to tell her what happened to her. And yeah, creepy, dark and twisty, but we'll go with it. Next we have To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. Again, another classic piece of literature. It's about family and their day trip to a lighthouse, but it has a lot of like deep and meaningful undertones to it. It has a lot of heavy themes. From what I've been told, it is a must read, so I've had this book for a long time and I would like to get it read. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This will be a really quick read. This book is less than 100 pages. I'm sure everyone has seen at least some version of The Time Machine in movie form. So I'm super excited. It's a very well-known piece of science fiction literature, and H.G. Wells is one of my boyfriend's favourite authors and he loves this man's work. So, high on the list. Next we have Virgin by Radhika Sanghani? I don't know. Not good with foreign names. And this is about a girl who, through no fault of her own, is a virgin at 21. And now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a virgin at 21, but she seems to think there is. So it's all about her hilarious journey of losing her virginity, I'm guessing. But it's just a quick kind of light-hearted comedy thing. It's kind of, what's it? Laugh out loud. Bridget Jones could take a page from this novel. So, yep, enough said about that. It's just a cheap, quick read, probably. Next we have Beautiful by Amy Reed, and this book really concerns me. Just a little bit. I'm not one for like censorship and things too much, but I don't think this should be targeted towards, like, I don't know. I think this should be like, if you're a parent, I would read this before letting your teenage child read it, because depending on how mature your teenage child is, like if you're a mature reader, fine, go ahead, but if they're quite like immature and babyish, then probably not the best. It is about this girl who moves with her mother and father to a suburb of Seattle. I grasp that her dad has either lost a job or taken a huge pay cut, and they've had to like downsize their life. And she's 13 and going through that awkward stage, and within days of moving to this new place, she's fallen in with a bad crowd, dropping acid, and getting sexually assaulted by an older boy. Now I know this stuff happens. I know it does. I know people who it's happened to. Maybe not the dropping acid part, but heroin. We'll go with heroin. Sorry. Like when I was like a teenager, one of my childhood friends passed away from a heroin overdose. She was only 14 when that happened, so I know this stuff happens, and it is really intense, and I don't like the way this author is dealing with the situation. I've only read like the first 4 chapters or so, and I really don't like how the author is dealing with the situation. It's too blasé, but I will read the rest of it, and then I will have a really deep and thought-filled talk about that book and how I feel about it. Next we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I've been trying to read this since I was 16. Jane, I can't remember, is it Charlotte Bronte that wrote Jane Eyre? Charlotte Bronte, her writing is a lot easier to digest. Emily Bronte is very complex, wordy, dark and twisty, and it's very gothic and heavy, and I will be so super happy once I can say I have actually read it. It's about, I'm not even going to say what it's about, because if you don't know what Wuthering Heights is about, just, you need to go find out on your own. I would recommend the adaptation of the movie from the 90s. It's really good. Next we have Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I think that's how you say his name. This is the film cover of the, with Keira Knightley and people. I don't know who anyone else is, just it's Keira Knightley. I love Keira Knightley. Yeah, I don't really know what this is about, and I don't want to know. I just want to go into it blind, see how I like it, and then watch the film finally. Then we have Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, or some people say Eugenides. I say Eugenides. Is it Eugenides? I don't know. Someone tell me. But yeah, this is Virgin Suicides, and the reason I was drawn to this particular edition is this was an edition my school library had, and I read it once in English class and then went back to check it out from the library and it disappeared, and I've just been fascinated by this edition. And yeah, I do have another copy of it, but I don't know what happened to it. But I'm gonna read this, and this is basically retelling the story of these sisters who are in a very strict Christian family. Their father is a math teacher and their mother is a housewife, and it basically tells the story of what made them all kill themselves. Next we have The Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote, or Capote, whichever way you can say it. Again, this one is less than 100 pages, so it will be a nice, quick and easy read. I had been told that this book is drastically different from the movie, and apparently the only thing, I don't know how true this is, apparently the only thing the book and the movie have in common is there's a character called Holly Golightly in it. And apparently the book, the story referenced in the movie is this story that happens here. So that will be interesting to find out. Super, super excited. Then we have Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Again, this is one of my boyfriend's favourite books. It's a bit water damaged. It's mine, and he water damaged it. So annoyed. This is why I don't lend people my books. Even if we live in the same house. That's why I don't lend my books out. And this is basically the novel which Blade Runner was based on, and there's been sequels off of this, not by Philip K. Dick. They were written by other people. But yeah, I loved Blade Runner, and I'd like to see how this compares. And then we have We Are Liars by E. Lockhart. Pretty much the book of the summer. Everybody and their freaking mother has read this apart from me, so don't anyone dare spoil it for me, because I will be so, so, so angry. So angry. Again, I have read about 5 chapters of this, so I do have a feel for the story and kind of what's happening. And oh my god, gripping, gripping, gripping. I have a picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. It's Oscar Wilde. And everybody knows what picture Dorian Gray is about. It's the guy who has eternal youth and his portrait ages. I can't remember if he like sells his soul to the devil or something like that, or makes some kind of screwed up bargain. But we will find out. Then we have Notes on a Scandal by Zoe Heller. Again, this is a book that I've had for ages. And from what I remember, this is supposed to be about a teacher who has an affair with his pupil and is found out, and another sort of friend from the faculty sort of takes her in during the media storm, and shifty psycho lesbian stuff occurs. I'm not entirely sure. Please don't anyone take offense to me saying psycho lesbian, please. But that's what I could kind of grasp from snippets I've read and snippets of the film I've caught on TV. But you know. This is We by Evgeny, maybe? Zamyatin. I don't know how to pronounce this. Ariel Passette. I will link in the info box. She knows how to pronounce this, I think. She pronounced it better than I did anyway. And this is the book that 1984 was based off of. This is like the original idea, and then George Orwell took the idea and ran with it and made it into this big thing. It's basically about this guy who lives in this world where everything is uniform. It's kind of like, can't remember exactly, like they're shooting a rocket and into space, and everyone has to record something for wherever the rocket lands, and he's recording a diary of day-to-day life, and it's all about the what's the word? Confinement of complacency? I can't remember. Like, he lives in a fairly totalitarian society, but everyone's okay with it. It's not like people are being whipped or anything like that. It's weird. I will read it and we will discuss. Then we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, an eternal classic that I still have not read yet, despite the abused look of the book. I'm just not very careful with books sometimes. This book is like 12 years old, so it's seen a lot of school bags. We have Shopgirls by Ellie Seymour, which is just sort of a memoir of women who worked in a department store in Cambridge in the 50s. I like little cute memoirs like this. Another one I would recommend would be West End Girls, which is it's about prostitution in London during the 40s. But yeah, it's a lot better than it sounds. It's not quite grim. Then we have The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, and this is like a ghost story about this woman in black, obviously. Anyone who sees her, every time someone sees her, a child will die. I saw it in the movie, I saw the movie in the theatre, and it was awesome. So I kind of want to read the book. I'm pretty sure I got this quite cheap. Like, Waterstones had like a deal on, so it was cheap, so I picked it up. And lastly, we have Decline and Fall by Evelyn Waugh, and again, this is just a classic piece of British literature. It's from like the sort of the Rat Pack sort of days of literature. These are all people who like went to, what were they called? The Bright Young Things. That was it. Like, America had the Rat Pack and we had the Bright Young Things during the 20s. And this is about someone called Paul Pennyfeather, who was sent down from Oxford to become a schoolmaster. I'm guessing he was like disgraced and sent away for punishment or something, possibly, and scandalous activities ensue, and this is supposed to be quite funny, I've heard, once you get past all the old language. So those are the books I'm going to attempt to read before the end of the year. On a good day I can read 400 pages, on a very good day, so theoretically I could probably bang out a book a day, but that would just not be fun. So I'll see where I can get to, and I will link my Goodreads in the info box so you can follow my progress there, and I will link my blog also. Yeah. If there's any of these books that you've read or are interested in, let me know in the comments below. No spoilers, please, and thank you. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.